Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And today I am joining you from my cruise ship, and so I'm currently at the Cayman Islands. I got off at the islands for about an hour or so, and I spent the time with my wife, my daughter, and the rest of my family. And of course I had to do a little perfume shopping, and it goes without saying that I was able to come across a bottle of the new Sauvage Parfum, which I bought. It was about $110, and this was the 50 milliliter, so it was quite pricey, but given the fact that it just came out, it's understandable that it would be so expensive. I also actually happened to run into a subscriber there, so it was a pleasure meeting you if you do happen to watch this video. And this is a fragrance that I first smelled about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. My friend Carlos actually let me smell a decant that he had that he acquired from his Dior sales rep. And I remember enjoying the initial opening, but it wasn't something where I was like, wow, I have to run out there and buy it and pull the trigger on it immediately. But I knew that I wanted to buy it both for collection purposes, but also for review purposes. So given the fact that they had this one, and I also bought a Moschino fragrance for my wife, you know, I decided to do a little shopping, and I don't regret the purchase at all. So they have 3 concentrations now. So there's the original, which was the eau de toilette, obviously, and then they have the eau de parfum. And this is the newest one. It just says parfum here on the front. And so it's not much of a change in the presentation. There isn't really much of a fade to the bottle as I was kind of expecting there to be. If you look at it from a distance, it kind of just looks like the original. And so you do have to be careful when you're making the purchase so that you're able to distinguish among the 3. But anyway, so this one, as soon as I sprayed it on, there was definitely an aura of familiarity to it. It kind of smells like the original Sauvage. And that was my initial impression when I first smelled it about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. I think the thing with this one, though, is that it smells different up close, and it smells pretty much the same in the air. And I will share an anecdote with you. So my friend Carlos and I, we recently went to a store. We wanted to get something to drink, and there was a gentleman waiting in line to pay, and we were standing behind him. So Carlos walks behind him, and he smells him, and then he comes up to me and he says, "Can you guess what he's wearing?" And I said, "I'm not entirely sure." And I thought it was either like a Ventus or Dior Sauvage or just something that smelled very fresh and citrusy with bergamot and what have you. And so he asked the guy, he goes, "Oh, which one are you wearing? Are you wearing Dior Sauvage?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, I'm wearing Sauvage." And then my friend Carlos said, "Oh, which are you wearing, the eau de toilette or the eau de parfum?" So it ended up being that the guy was wearing the eau de parfum. And so it's one of those things where you don't want to make a bet, you know, you don't want to guess, because they do smell rather similar to one another. So the thing with this one is when you smell it up close, yes, it does smell different. It's a bit deeper. It's a bit richer. I feel like those warm and resinous elements come out a little bit more, like perhaps the vanilla, maybe the inclusion of a little bit of benzoin. So it definitely smells richer and more inviting, whereas the original was very bright and citrusy and effervescent, and it had that metallic opening that people talk about quite a lot. And I'm not saying that the metallic opening in this one is entirely diminished. I do think there's a little bit of that metallic thing going on in here, but there's something about the dry down as well that makes it a bit more harmonious, almost as though it's not a lackluster base in the sense of everything is invested into the top notes, and then once it dries down, it just completely dissipates. In this one, you can sense that there's something lingering underneath all of the other ingredients in here, and I quite enjoyed the way that this fragrance not only opens up, but the way that it sort of transforms throughout the entire longevity on your skin. Now, of course, I just applied this one maybe 2.5 to 3 hours ago, and so this is my first time actually wearing it on skin, hence the reason why this is more of a first impression. But my first impression on this one is pretty solid. I do enjoy Dior Sauvage Parfum. This is one that I'm going to be wearing a lot more throughout the entire duration of the cruise. And if you saw one of my other recent videos, you'll know that I actually also purchased Carolina Herrera's Bad Boy. And so it's a nice thing to sort of alternate between the two. Maybe when I'm on the islands in the daytime, I'll wear this one. When I'm going to dinner in the evening, I'll wear Bad Boy because it's a little sweeter, a little more chocolatey, a little more tonka bean heavy. But all in all, I do think this is a nice fragrance. It's sort of a richer, denser, more robust version of the original, and perhaps that metallic opening is substantially downgraded, and that's, you know, I'm saying that in a good way, because the original for a lot of people could be a little bit harsh in the opening. So I think it's a worthwhile release. I'm excited to wear it more, and if you are interested in seeing a full review, just leave a comment down below and I will certainly consider it. Thanks again for watching. I hope you all are well. Take care.